and we found a place and we got it, and then it just started rolling, and then just happened. And look, I was excited because I just want to help people, right? That's my biggest passion. So it doesn't matter to me if it's in a gym or, you know, on a boat or whatever, like, awesome. So yeah, it's, like I said, still a bit surreal, like, but it's coming together really well.
Hey guys, welcome to the Virtus Performance Podcast. This is week 40. Before we get stuck into today's episode, I'd like to thank all you guys for listening, for sending questions, for all of the feedback we've had. It's been pretty cool to have some really nice messages about you guys getting a lot out of what we're talking about. If you are enjoying it, please share, subscribe, give us a plug. Please leave a review if you are loving what we're putting out. Today I sat down with Jess Curl, better known as Better Health with Jess. Jess was born in the USA. She moved to Australia about 6 years ago. She is heavily into her health, fitness, and basically just general improvement. She's a really, really cool person to chat to in terms of finding the little things we can be doing day in, day out to create, I guess, happier, healthier humans and to help as many people as we can, which is, as coaches, it's what we do and why we do it. Jess talked about all the setbacks she's been through and how it's kind of led to, even though it's been some hard times, it's led to some brighter, happier places. And yeah, that was a really, really important takeaway from the podcast. Enjoy. My personal and business goal is to be just a little bit better every day. I believe everyone, especially normal people, have a story to tell. The Virtus podcast exists to help us all find small ways of consistent improvement by discussing the journey and experiences of each of our guests. Jess, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming all the way down from Collingwood.
You're welcome. It's a good drive.
It's not the worst drive in the world. What did you listen to on the way down? Podcast?
I did listen to the Model Health Show podcast.
Awesome.
And it was all about Dirty Jeans, this new book coming out by Ben Lynch. So good.
What'd you learn?
I learned just a bit more in depth about like how genes are not the be-all, end-all. So like genetics load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's really cool. That's a really, really, really good analogy. First question for you.
Yeah.
What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Ooh, my alarm. No, just joking. I just want to get up and basically like change as many lives as I can. One of my 2018 goals was to change 300 people's lives. I don't know why I picked it. That's just kind of what came to my head. But yeah, basically wake up every day. I have a cold shower and then I meditate and I kind of keep that in mind. You know, because getting up at 4:30 is pretty early.
Yeah.
It's easy to be tired, a little bit crabby, but
we've all been there.
Yeah. I always think of the cold shower as being like the hardest part of my day. Like if you can handle the 2-minute cold shower, everything else is a breeze.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then when I do my little meditation, I'm just like, all right, how can I make a smile on someone's face or educate them in some way or just make their day better?
Awesome.
Whatever, something like that, yeah.
How long have you been doing the cold showers for?
Intermittently, on and off. So we actually have a cold tub at our house that like plunges like through the cold water, but it takes a while to cool down. And I'm not going to wake up at 3 to turn it on. Where I do turn it on for my partner when I leave, and he gets in for about 5 minutes. It's like 5 degrees. Pretty cold.
That's nippy. That's really nippy.
Yeah, it's sweet. But I'm doing it now like for the last 2 weeks every day. I was like a goal I added in, but
awesome.
It's easier in the summer.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I've been doing it for the last maybe 2 months, and it's
awesome.
But I'm a little bit different because I don't shower in the morning, so I shower before I go to bed, and then straight in. So I'll try and sneak in like a shower during the day just to like keep me out of a funk if I'm a little bit tired or sleepy.
Well, I'm definitely not a morning shower either, but I was like, I need to like get something like my blood pumping a little bit. So. And it's easier. We have an infrared sauna at home as well. So usually you get the sauna and then you hop in and you're like, oh, it's not so bad.
Are you looking for roommates? I think I need to move in.
We do have a spare bedroom. You can Airbnb that. Awesome.
Done. I mean, What's having cold showers taught you about yourself and about the day? And what was the main reason you actually decided to do it in the first place?
Well, I've done a lot of research with Rhonda Patrick, not with her, but
She's awesome.
Looking at her stuff and talking about the dopamine and the thermogenic effect and the norepinephrine and all that stuff, which is awesome. And just all the research around it and the resilience you get with it, and just it sucks. Like, it sucks initially. People hate it, but like I said, from that is, if you get in the 2 minutes, I use my toothbrush as a timer because it's 2 minutes. So I get in there, brush my teeth. I'm like, oh, it's so terrible. Whatever.
That's a good coping mechanism, though.
Yeah, well, it takes your mind off it a little bit. And then, it just, like I said, kind of gets me that extra spring in my step for the day. And I just feel like everything else is downhill in a good way, not downhill in a bad way.
Well, I like that if you hit the hardest thing for the day at the start of the day, then no matter what crap life throws at you, you're going to be okay. That's cool. And then so you roll from your cold shower into meditation. Yeah,
so I use the app Calm. I have to do guided. I'm on a 23-day streak because I started at the beginning of the year.
Awesome.
So that's cool. They're about 10-15 minutes. I actually use a thing called a heart math. It's like measures your HRV, your coherence, how good your breathing rate is and things like that. So you plug that in, and I use a human charger. So I'm a total nerd when it comes to biohacking gear.
That's cool.
Have you ever heard of the human charger?
I haven't. Talk me through it.
So it's the idea that it's like a little machine, and it's 12 minutes long, and you put it in your ears, and it reflects a certain wavelength of light that would simulate sunshine. So obviously at 4:30, 5 o'clock, there's no sunshine going on. So it actually just wakes everything up. So it would be as if you were sitting in front of the sun in the morning. Okay. So I put that in, I put on my little HRV monitor, and then I do my little meditation, and I just try and breathe through my mantras, kind of do all that stuff, and then I make my tea and turn on the cold bath for my partner, and then I'm out the door.
Out the door, straight to work?
Yeah, I'm only a 5-minute walk, so yeah.
That's cool. It's
convenient. It makes it much easier to get out and go. Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit easier to get up a little bit earlier to do all that extra stuff.
Definitely. It's harder. When I started getting up early, I was like, this kind of sucks. But then you just build a routine, and it gets easier, and you push through a little bit. And not being on coffee has been interesting because I love coffee, so I miss it every day.
Shout out to our sponsors, Common Folk Coffee, for all that they do for us.
I heard it's delicious, yes. So not having the coffee, I've been having dandelion tea, which is usually a good replacement.
That sounds horrible.
Well, it's dark and rich and kind of bold like coffee. Okay. So what I did is made a huge thing in the sunshine. Obviously, getting all the easy water and stuff like that. And then, I just think it's more habitual for me than anything. Just bring good habits, I
like that. What do you... So, you've obviously talked to me about what you do for work, but for everyone that's listening, what's your, passion when it comes to work?
My biggest passion. So, I just think everyone deserves to feel better and good and great, and we get so used to feeling like shit that it becomes a norm, and people don't understand how terrible they really feel, and that's not okay, and you get these excuses where they say I'm getting older, or I have kids, or shit happens, life happens, but I see so many people come to me and have been told by the doctor, you're just aging, you're losing your memory because of this, or you're going to wait because of that. And they don't give them, any hope or any help at all to, feeling any better. And it's very, very frustrating. I'm not saying all doctors are bad or anything, but we just accept that this is how it's supposed to be when we're learning that it's not. So, my background's in functional diagnostic nutrition, which is just basically trying to help people through food and supplements and lifestyle management, and looking at what we can change through their lifestyle habits that will help them feel better and have long-lasting changes and give them longevity and make them feel good. So, and because I just hate saying I'm just a personal trainer, it's such a skewed
it is
terminology.
I guess it's one of the hard ones because I had a couple of years there where I didn't want to be called a personal trainer, and now I'm kind of to be honest, it doesn't really matter. They're all just titles. Personal trainer's goal is to get the best value for their client and to help them as much as possible. So I guess it's one of those words that's some people look down on, some people look up to.
It's probably just us looking down on it because we know the industry.
We know the difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So then I'm also strength and conditioning certified. So I just think the more tools you can have in your toolbox, the better, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it depends on the person, what tools you're going to use.
Oh, for sure. So I get clients who just need some training or want to go like head first into stool testing and bloods, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
Or maybe just want some nutritional guidance, or it's my job to give them the tools that they need and want, and the education. Like I think empathy and education will take you further in life than anything else. So, like sometimes you sit down with people and they just like don't get it, or they just don't empathize with you and they don't have compassion, and that sucks. And so yeah, you have to have some of that definitely when you're a personal trainer.
Yeah, definitely. What tools do you use from your toolbox that most help you get the best out of your clients? Because obviously you have a wide range of people that all come from different spots, all wanting different things.
Yeah. Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So I always try to come in and be like a little ray of sunshine.
Cool.
And I try and drop like little education bombs, like just sneakily, right? You don't want to like hone in and like
yeah, you don't give too much.
Yeah, but to be like I always use myself as a guinea pig. Like if I'm gonna do something, or if I create a protocol, or if someone asks me about something, like I'm generally like pretty brutally honest. Like I'll be like, oh, I don't know, or I'll try it on myself and then be like, look, this is what worked for me.
Yeah,
I've tried this with clients, it's worked for them, or like, and it's always like you said, like so bio-individual. What works for me might not work for you.
Yeah, I think that's where we go wrong. Everyone tries to group people into
pigeonhole.
Yeah, exactly. We've got these. All right, you're either this, or this. Well, no, there's 1,000 different variables of that, and that's what I think. That's what I've learned. The more people I've coached and trained and talked to, like some people need to be smashed every day to get a little bit of an adaptation, but some people need to train twice a week and need a rest. Like some people, are going to get more out of sitting there and doing breathing corrections than they are chucking a barbell on their back, and that's we're able to learn those things as coaches, as personal trainers, as strength and conditioning coaches, whatever we call ourselves. If we can understand all of those things little bit by little bit, then we're going to give what's best.
100%. And I think the thing is as well, like what works for you now might not work for you in a month or a year, or like it's all about stress at the end
which is incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Like just tell me what works. Well, actually, we don't really know.
Yeah.
So, and it's just do the best. Like one of the favorite, I guess, ways to look at it is just do the best with what you have.
Oh, for sure.
Right now, where you're at, and if it's not working, try something different.
Exactly, like it's trial and error the whole time. Like food, like people come in and they're like, oh, keto or paleo or this, or like and I was vegan for a while. I was very preachy vegan, so I've been there.
You're one of those ones.
I was one of those ones. I'm not anymore. Okay. Like very other direction, like eating awful every day. But like it's so easy to just go down and be like, this is the best, because you get passionate. And I understand. Like when I was there, I was like, my kids will be vegan, I'll be my life, and then like my health was like kind of going downhill, and I was like, oh,
maybe this isn't the best one.
Yeah.
But you were able to kind of check yourself
eventually,
and I'm sure you probably that bias that you had probably banging your head against the wall for a couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
But you were able to actually get out of it and realize, well, maybe that wasn't the best for me.
Luckily. Yes.
Luckily?
Yes.
And but there's some people that the vegan diet maybe is the best option for.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Like things can be done very poorly, or you can have an organic, gluten-free, vegan chocolate caramel brownie. Doesn't mean it's good for you.
Or you can have some Macca's chips.
Yeah, exactly. Like or like what they say, like the chicken nuggets is like 3% chicken, right? So
that counts. 97% vegan.
Yeah. So, like there's good and bad ways to do everything, especially the diet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you always wanted to be in this field and be helping people like you are?
Yeah, so my degree back home is actually in teaching.
Awesome.
So I was going to be a gym teacher, partially because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and soccer was paying for my school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was, 18. And it seemed like an easy thing to do, which sounds really bad, but I love people. I've always loved people, and I'm really passionate about helping people. So, teaching and personal training, they're essentially
very similar.
The same thing, right?
Yeah.
So, and I loved it. I did it for a year back home in the States, but it's just too much structure, and it's too, like, when you work with, like, kids, you get kindergartners for 30 minutes twice a week, and they're just like, that's not enough.
Yeah. And you've got a group of 20 or 30 to deal with, and it's just like...
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Yeah. It's good, but it's very rewarding, but it's a tough industry. Like, I was at a very low, like, socioeconomic school, and that was like, the parents I would see, like, you'd see a parent and they'd be an asshole, and their kid would be an asshole. I'd be like, wow.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's back to what you're talking about with genes before, like obviously lifestyle.
Oh, nurturing.
And your environment is so
100%.
important.
Yeah.
My partner's a teacher, and she comes home some days and hears some of the stories, and it's just like far out. Like, I don't envy you guys some days, but at the same time, I guess they're doing it because they love helping.
Of course,
And that's,
yeah. Super rewarding, but very, very taxing on the heartstrings. Yeah.
Whereabouts is home? Whereabouts
So
in the
I'm from
US?
Bismarck, North Dakota.
Awesome.
Which is like a 70,000 person town. Very blue collar, Caucasian, Catholic, closed-minded style, right?
Awesome. So like the Mornington Peninsula?
Yeah, you know what, actually...
Kind of.
But people are just as friendly. Like, I notice, like, when you go for a walk and people say hi, they don't do that in the city down in Fitzroy. People look at you like you're crazy if you do that. But, yeah, look, I, loved where I grew up. It's very safe. We didn't lock our doors or our car.
Awesome.
Or anything like that. But also kind of secluded, I guess, in terms of when I came to Melbourne, I was like, oh my God, there's so much, difference in culture. And, I think that's why I love Melbourne, is because it's just so different.
What brought you over?
So I played high-level soccer. I did 6 years of university back home, and then
awesome.
I came out and I actually played with Cranbourne. Comments, yeah.
There you go.
For about 2 seasons, and then I moved to South Melbourne for a few seasons, and then I did a year at Victory, and I really love soccer, but the soccer here at the time was just a bit I was a bit older than most of the girls. And I was just sore all the time, and they were all kind of 18 and running around loving it, and which is cool. But I think I just kind of moved past that stage in my life. I was, I was never going to be national level or anything, and I was kind of done chasing the dream.
Yeah.
And I had some knee issues, so I was like, is it worth kind of continuing on and causing more damage than it should be? What's a new life motto that I have is be coached by your 80-year-old self. Yeah. So what would your 80? Yeah, write it down. It's good. Because it's whoa, what would your 80-year-old self want you to do right now? So from there, then I basically took up strongman, which was great, and that was a whole new different thing.
That's an interesting transition from to soccer, from soccer to strongman. It's a
Well, I couldn't run anymore, so I couldn't run, and I was really, really, because I did basketball, volleyball, track.
So you've done everything.
Did everything my whole life, right? And then couldn't play soccer anymore, and I was really missing the competition. And where I was working at the time, they were big into strongman training. And so I started doing Atlas and yoke carries and farmer carries and all these cool things I'd never done, and I was pretty good at them. I've got a pretty, I want to brag, but I'm pretty tough. So
massive head wobble going on.
Yeah. No, but I just really enjoyed it. I was like, this is cool. I felt like a badass, strongman. That just sounds awesome.
It is cool, and it's a lot of fun to do.
Yeah,
a lot
the mountain does it, amazing. So I took that up, and my mentor at the time was like, let's just put you in a competition, see how you go. I was like, okay. So I went, and I actually got second, which was out of I think 3 or 4 girls or something. But I had to not do one of the heats because I couldn't do the deadlift because of my back at the time. So so I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But I qualified for the Arnolds, and they're like, awesome. Cool, you can go in. If you win, you go to South America, or South Africa or whatever. I was like, yes. I was like, I'm definitely gonna win. So that was meant to be in April 2016. January that year, I ruptured my Achilles doing box jumps during a training session.
Good for you.
Yeah, never gonna do them again, but
well, we could do them, but properly.
I've done a few now. You just step down.
Can I teach you to land?
You should probably, yeah. I got long legs. It's real awkward. I'm all legs. So then I had surgery, and 4 weeks after surgery, basically, I went to the physio, and he told me I'm all good to walk in my boot, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I went home that day, pretty much walked into the house. I heard a large pop again, and I just kind of knew what had happened. I sat down, I took off my boot, and I was like, fuck. So I called my partner, he rushed me to the ultrasound, and the lady was like, she's like, you can't do it in your boot, it's safe. And I was like,
shut up, lady.
I felt it. I was like, oh my God. So then she did the scan, and I had a 7 centimeter gap between my Achilles, severed Achilles, I should say.
Which is quite a big gap if you think about it.
Yeah, the surgeon said it was the biggest he's seen. So then I had to go to a specialty surgeon. And he wore a bow tie. He was real obnoxious and rude. And he was like, at the first meeting, he's like, you'll never compete, you'll never run, you'll never do this. And I was just like,
Thanks for the positive pep talk.
So I was pretty emotionally distraught, but had surgery. So an FHL repair where they take the tendon from your big toe, drill a hole through your heel, graft it across your Achilles. He said it was like severed into 3 parts. He said they had 2 surgeons, 3 hours long, like holding me up, like.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. So I was in this hospital for about a week. But anyways, I was on bed rest for about 7-8 months-ish, where I luckily finally just like unwound. Like I was saying to you before, like I was so excited to be injured because I was like, I can read. Yeah. I was like, I can study, I can do all these things. And then my partner was like, you need to just like watch TV, like right now. Like, and I was like, I don't want a TV. He's like, you need to stay at mine. So he pretty much babysat me for the next 8 months, which was lovely. But yeah, so I finally kind of chilled out, and what I realized was like where I was working and trying to teach people about balance and wellness and doing all the right things, like I had none.
You were doing the opposite. Yeah.
Well, it's hard, and it's so hard to see when you're in that bubble. Yeah. And I'm like, I just want to help people. I'm like, this is my job, you know. And you get so used to kind of like go,
yeah. And then it's really hard to say no if someone wants. And I was having that conversation this morning. Like Thursday morning's meant to be my sleep in, right? I'm meant to get into work a little later, about 9:30, and I've had two or three people ask me. I think we had 2 ask me if they could do 7 and 8 this week, and I said yes. But I'm aware enough to go, I shouldn't have said yes, but I'll find that time somewhere else. So I've moved those couple of hours to another day.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, which I wouldn't have done 6 months ago. I wouldn't have done 12 months ago. But that, like, I use the analogy of filling a cup. Right? It's a really simple one. If you can't fill your cup, you can't pour it out to help anyone else.
And it's hard, like it's really hard to do, especially when you're like in this industry and so passionate about helping people. You just want to go, take it, you know, I'll give you everything I have.
Yeah.
And it took me like 3-4 months to finally go, I don't know if I can go back into this environment. You know, I was working 70 hours, like my day off, like I had 1 day off a week, and I was like laundry and food prep, you know, like it's not wind down at all. So it took me, that was a really hard decision because they were sponsoring me to stay in the country and stuff, and I was like, what do I do? Like, what's next?
You had to do the right thing for you, I guess.
Yeah. So in my, like, thankfully my partner's amazing. He was just like, he's like, we'll work it out. Like, it'll be fine. Like, you know, like, this isn't right, you know, like, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, things work out they're supposed to. Like, okay, cool. So, yeah, so then I ended up finishing up there, and when I was able to walk and started, like, rehab and hydro and stuff, he was just like, have you ever thought about doing this yourself? And I was like, no. He's like, you're so smart, you know, you're so smart, sometimes I was like, oh yeah, like I could probably do this myself.
You want to help people, you just got to shift that mindset a little bit.
Yeah, well, and I've never been business minded or anything, so I've never just been like, oh, I can run my business. Like, it sounds insane. So then we started a garage, like out of our garage, like it was like 3 stalls, few racks,
awesome.
Clients. Like I had a lot of clients come back from my old gym, like, you know, you just build rapport and people leave, and it's just what it is, which was cool. And then like I was telling my partner, basically was like, we should just start a real gym. He's like, I like what these guys are doing, but I don't like that, you know, taking the best bits from all the things. Yeah. And he's like, I think we can do it better. And I was like,
that was basically our business plan. It's just like, all right, what's everyone doing that we like?
Yeah.
Let's use that. And let's not steal that, as use that, because everyone does all the same shit, but it's just a matter of putting your spin on it and your, I guess, personal touch on it to make it your service.
Definitely.
And then you go, well, that sucks, let's not do that. And then you start to put together your own philosophy, right?
Correct.
That's really cool. What's the process been like from, I guess, thinking about doing it to actually now being very close to opening?
It's still pretty surreal. But it's been a good journey, right? Like it went from having a conversation to finding a space to watching it develop. Like the space we got when we first got it, I hated it. I'm very lucky that my partner's got a very good eye. You know, we tore back the wall, there was brick, like we opened the window, like it's such an amazing space now. Yeah. But I just like couldn't see. I was like, babe, this sucks. This is shit. Like, and he's like, look, it's all we can afford, it's on Smith Street, like, you know, whatever.
The worst spot to
it's
have
great.
A cool space.
It's awesome. And it's the only real gym on Smith Street, so it's like
that's cool.
There's so many benefits for it. But and so watching it develop and like slowly getting equipment in and things like that, like I'm just really frothing to like because people walk by when the doors are open, like when we're moving stuff, and they're like, oh my god, it's a gym, and like how cool is it, and like bring people in, and you know, we've got a ton of like different equipment in there, like so we don't have like your normal treadmills, we got like the true front runners, we got like a Jacob's ladder, we got rope flexes, we got skiers, like we have like one Stairmaster, which is like the normal thing, and then we've got like the farmer carry like treadmill, which is like I've never seen this before. I'm like, this is amazing.
It's so cool.
So just like all kinds of cool things, and we don't have mirrors, like we don't want like we're kind of avoiding things like that. Like we just want like the idea was to have like take 20 from a 24-hour gym. The best part is 24 hours, so it's gonna be 24 hours.
Cool.
And then the best part about like CrossFit is the classes and the culture.
Yeah.
Not the cult. But so that was I was doing anyways. It's like
what's the difference between a culture and a cult?
I don't know. I just realized it's pretty similar.
My answer to that would be a cult people follow blindly, whereas a culture you empower people to be a part of a community that all bring each other up.
You should write that down. That's very good.
That's actually the first time I probably articulated that. So
that was.
If anyone's listening, can you please write it down and text it to me? That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you. So then from like the old place that I worked at, like that's where I learned about gut health and hormones and like all kinds of what true health and wellness is. And so having that service like an option as well. So you can come in if you just want to be a 24-hour member. Cool, great, you can do that. That's normal price. You can be a group member if you want nutrition or bloods or stool testing, or if you want to go above and beyond, you can. Cool. Yeah. So just kind of tailor everyone, and it's like hipster cafe look. So it's like polished wooden floorboards, exposed brick. Like we've got a plant guy coming in to do greenery. We have an infrared sauna. Like everything, like our water is like reverse osmosis and structured. Like everything is thought back to a T, right?
Yeah.
Even our front desk is like organic timber made. Our system, like our speaker system's like 20 grand, Bose, like massive, like everything's just, like over the top. But
which is the way to go when it's your gym.
Exactly, it's our baby, right? So I just wanted to make a place that was like welcoming and safe, and sounds really safe, but like you can come to and you don't feel like you're being judged, or it's welcoming. Like I did a lot of like market research, so I went to like the nearby Snap and Good Life and stuff, and it's so clinical and like uptight, and it's so regimented. And
you don't feel welcome. You don't know anyone's name. Like you don't have that rapport that you build.
Correct.
That's really cool. You've got a very similar, I guess, outlook to what your facility wants to be. Like that's kind of what we're trying to focus on. Is just have a place where people want to be. Like really, really simple.
That's what it's about. Well, it's like you said before. You're going to get coffee with the guys and food. Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be this like uptight like. For general population anyways, like I think it can be, well, even some athletes, but I think I used to work with athletes and it's like, how do we get from A to B and that's it, and it can be more chill and relaxed.
But it needs to be more chill, because then when, like our physio uses the terms blast and caress, right? When you need to blast and really work hard and focus in and dial in and knock it over, and then when you need to caress, when you need to
100%.
chill out, fill your cup, do
there's not enough to fill your cup, is there?
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's why we're trying to create.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's called the Better Health Project?
The Better Health Project.
Awesome. Whereabouts is it?
It's on Smith Street in Collingwood.
That's super cool. I'll have to come up for a lift.
Yes.
Very soon. When are you going to be open?
Waiting on council pending. Hopefully end of February.
Awesome.
Hopefully.
That's exciting.
Or sooner. Yes.
Awesome. So you're just kind of like knocking over all the little details at the moment.
Yeah, look, it's worked out all right. Like, I don't know if you had this issue when you were working with equipment companies, but overpromised, underdelivered with a few things. So luckily, like with not opening, we're still waiting on things to arrive.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, has been good because we're not open yet. So we've got about probably like 75% of the stuff in. Still waiting on little bits and pieces. So it'll be nice to have the rest of that and then actually open with a proper gym. Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's all happening. I just completely forgot my question. What's what is it just you?
Yeah, so my partner does he's very handy and stuff, so he'll come in and we'll drill in the rigs and stuff like that. But as a trainer, for now it's just me. Awesome. Eventually we'll probably have to have a front desk and probably bring on trainers, but you have to be able to pay people, so
funny that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Do you obviously you get your partner to support you, but do you find it hard just kind of not that you're by yourself, but being
not really, to be honest,
the one go-to?
I take, as a trainer, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, not really, as lame as it sounds, which you probably find this as well with your gym, but, all my clients, majority of them are, my closest friends in life.
100%.
And it's funny because I used to actually get, in trouble at my old work for that because they're like, oh, you're too open to it. And I'm like, this is just the way that I am. And it's how I communicate and how I connect with people. And personal training is so freaking personal that, you know, if you want to connect with someone, you have to be able to be on their level and,
I love that.
you know, and be open. So, so like they've been awesome. Like clients come down and help me. They help me paint. Like, you know, they help us put stuff in.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're there because they genuinely want to help.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, like, can I do some free sessions? You know, no one was like, oh my god, like, you know, let me buy you lunch, let me this and that. Like, it's not expected at all, which is amazing. Like,
it's the best bit.
And that's what you want. Yeah.
The book I'm reading at the moment, one of the things I keep coming back to is meaningful work, meaningful relationships. If you have meaningful work, then like you're doing the things you want to do, and you are.
Yeah.
And if you have meaningful relationships, then you're doing it with the people you want to be doing it with.
Right.
Yeah. I always struggled with that. You don't want to be friends with your clients, or you don't want to be friends with, you know, your staff or the people you work with. Like, you should be putting people in front of you that you want to spend the rest of your life with, basically.
Right? Definitely. And I think I was listening to this thing the other day, and they're talking about how, like, I want my closest people to be the healthiest people, right? So if all my clients are my friends and they're really healthy, like, awesome. We can grow to 100 together.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I'm over 120, maybe.
Yeah, Dave Asprey 180 style, so just kidding.
Talk to me about, on that note, talk to me about biohacking and all the things that you've been able to kind of dive into and learn over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about, what does Ben Greenfield say? Better living through science, right? So that can be using tools, cold baths, fasting, intermittent fasting, long fasting, supplementation, testing, all that stuff. I get really into, because I think it's not the be all end all, you know, like even talking about like genetic testing, you know, but it gives you these awesome tools to use to be like, go for it. And then it gives you education around it. Like that
I think it empowers you to actually,
for sure,
like be in charge of the stuff that happens to you.
Correct.
Like, you know, I'm big on ownership, and no matter what happens to you, if you get sick, if you if you get injured, whatever, it's your fault. So if we can find those little things to make it less likely to happen and make us a little bit more efficient or whatever, then why don't we do it? But so many people just get stuck into the what happens kind of mindset.
Ownership is hard.
Yeah, it is. But it's hard, but it's the easiest thing in the world when you actually get.
But for people to do, like, it's so easy to go, oh, like, I'm tired, or I did this because of that, or the kids were crabby, or it's a really easy rabbit hole to get into. But
and I think people look at people who do have that extreme ownership and they go, like, you know, oh, everything's easy or everything's perfect.
Yeah.
But the people who, I guess, practice ownership, and I'm sure you do as well, it's just that you're always going to be struggling with stuff. And that struggle is never going away, but you learn to embrace this struggle and actually enjoy it.
Lean into the dip.
Exactly. It actually helps you improve.
Yeah.
Which is what we're all here for, I think.
Yeah.
And to help other people.
Well, that's like, so there was all this like drama around genetic testing because people were getting it done, and then you plug it into something and it's like, oh my god, you have the gene for cancer and blah, you know, all these things. And going back to like, they're not the be all end all, like it's meant to be empowering, it's meant to be information, like, okay, if you want to avoid these things, you need to make sure your sleep, nutrition, your movement, your training, your stress, like everything's on lockdown.
Why wouldn't we want to know?
I agree 100%, but I can't understand like people who get anxious about it. I mean, I can wrap my head around it, but I could.
You understand why, but wonder why they don't move that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, so I can see how people get a bit crazy about it, but so like I guess back to biohacking, like testing is a cool thing to do. So like most of my clients do like bloods, like because they're easy to do and they're cheap, and any GP will usually give you them, and they give you a wealth of information. Again, it's only like a snapshot.
Yeah.
But it can like tell you what's happening, what's going to happen, what's been happening. It's a very good insight. You know, and there's like stool testing, like do you have parasites, like what's happening in your gut, what's your microbiome like, you know, all kinds of different like saliva. There's so many things you can go down with that, which is sweet. But then there's like free stuff you can do, like cold showers, you know.
Free, easy stuff.
Fasting. Fasting's very free, you know.
It's incredibly free.
Incredibly free. Like whether that's like, I decided a 5-day fast at the beginning of the year. I'm going to do another one on the 5th of Feb.
Cool.
If anyone wants to join, follow my Instagram. No. You know, fasting is great. Even things like infrared saunas, like all those like hermetic responsors where you kind of make yourself uncomfortable, but you get comfortable with it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, when we make ourselves uncomfortable, we adapt and we move forward.
100%.
And we get better. I don't know, it's just such a simple one for me to find those things, but I guess a lot of people don't necessarily have that mindset. What are the simplest? I mean, this is going to be a really long question, but come back to the start. What are the simplest, most usable bits of information that you've learned? Because I think you can really dive deep into everything and go down the rabbit hole and get lost in the minutiae of detail. But what are the really, really simple ones?
So the simple ones are compress your eating window, meaning eat, in a 8-hour window. So finish eating early, have your first meal late.
Yeah.
That doesn't be every day. But that longer fasting has a ton of benefits. Lowers your insulin, lowers your blood sugar, all stuff.
Definitely.
Walking, daily walking.
Funny that.
Why?
Oh, if we move more, we feel better.
I know, but everyone thinks you have to go.
You tell people to go for a walk and they're like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Can I smash myself in the gym instead? Like, no, go for a walk.
Well, walking, there's so many benefits behind even doing it, around food, in the morning, at lunchtime, get out sunshine. You guys are down by the ocean, go to the beach.
Yeah, we are.
Walk barefoot in the sand, get those negative ions, help your circadian rhythms. There's so many benefits behind walking. I think it's, it's just unreal, but it's so undermined because people go, oh, it's so easy, or I love a walk. I put a podcast on or an audiobook, you go out, it's basically I put my phone on airplane mode, it's my hour of me time, right? Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
So that I think cold showers is good, but it's hard to get people to start that.
Yeah. It's this, this podcast won't be out for a few weeks, which is now for the people listening. So sorry for the mind fuck a little bit, but now is the perfect time to start it when it's hot, when it's warmish. Most mornings, chuck it on, because you're not going to want to start it in the middle of July when it's 3 degrees and we can't move.
Well, and your shower's not going to get that cold.
No.
Really? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you've got this big body of water you can just start jumping into.
We started doing that a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome.
7 a.m. swims after the first couple of sessions.
What temperature is the water at? Roughly?
Probably 10, 12 degrees at the moment. So it's still...
It's cold.
If you get a brisk morning, it's cold because it's windy.
Yeah.
If it's a warm morning, it's not uncomfortable.
But it gets easier, right?
It's enjoyable. And it's who doesn't love laying on the bottom of the ocean for 30 seconds at a time?
Yeah. Well, I remember when we first had our ice bath, it was we used to have it at 10 degrees, and then we'd go to it'd feel warm after a while. You'd be oh, well, this is easy, I can drop it down.
Yeah, what does it go down to now?
5 is the lowest it goes.
That's cool.
Yeah. So those 3 are probably my big ones, and put good food in your body. I think, I take, I don't know if you've read Deep Nutrition by Kate Shanahan, but she talks about she has 4 pillars, right? So you eat meat on the bone and bone broth, fermented foods, raw vegetables, and offal. So I think it doesn't have to be going down that rabbit hole of eating ratios and this and that. If you can't get that you're eating food not in a bag first, then we can play with the ratios.
Yeah. And I think that's a really simple thing that people what about this, what about this? Hey, is this good for me? Should I be eating this? We'll just put good shit in your body and it will pay you back. And then when you start sorting that out on a regular basis, you can go a little bit deeper.
Oh, for sure. But I think the biggest thing that I see with clients and my parents and stuff is no one likes vegetables.
Yeah.
I love vegetables.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Or you get too stuck with I just like carrots and broccoli.
Same stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe in trying to eat seasonal and stuff like that.
Well, variety is almost one of the most important things.
Yeah, for
in terms of what you're eating.
Definitely.
You can eat the healthiest food in the world, but if you eat every meal of every day for the rest of your life, you're not going to be overly healthy.
It's training, right? Your body's going to get sick of it probably.
Yeah.
So I think I think just eating whole foods, cut out all the crap, cut out processed shit, It the thing for me, I think, when I started playing around with lower carb kind of stuff and eating more, I wasn't doing ratios, but eating my plate was 75% veggies, olive oil over top, maybe some I don't know, lamb mince and brain and kidney and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good actually. Yeah. But
make me hungry.
but your relationship with food changes. You don't feel you need to eat every 3 hours. You don't live to eat, or wait, eat to live. You don't eat to live. You live to eat. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you know what I mean. You just changes the relationship. You're oh my god, I have to eat. And you just lose that. I remember I used to when I was eating 5-6 meals a day, thinking about all right, what's my next meal? Oh my god, I can't wait to have that or that or that. So. And you're
a little bit more mindful about what you eat and when you actually eat it. And I'm one that's terrible for this. So for the people that know me closely will be yelling at me right now. But I try it. I've been like last night, KP, my partner, yelled at me for not enjoying every mouthful, but I've been trying to be a little bit more mindful as to what I'm actually putting in my body. But it's a time thing for me, right? I gotta get back to work.
Correct.
And stuff.
No, it is hard. Like, you know, like Paul Chek talks about, like, you should basically like liquefy your food in your mouth before you drink it. Like, I'm really bad at that as well. Like, really bad. But you know, but like in terms of like gastric juices and you're preparing your body and switching on your CNS and all that stuff, your digestive, like, it's crazy important.
Definitely. I think it's so important and exciting that we're starting to drop down a couple of layers in terms of gut health and starting to figure out how important it is to be mindful of it and to understand what's going on.
It's my favorite topic in the whole world.
Awesome.
Because it's just like it's becoming now like to the forefront. Like people are actually recognizing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And everyone's now heard of like, gluten and stuff, you know, which is good. But I just think it's like, I think what we put in our body, like, it's the building blocks of everything, you know, your tissue, your skin, your cartilage, like your bones. Like, if you're putting shit in your body, you're going to have shit material. Like, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah, and your body's going to react to everything you put in it. Like, and it's going to either react positively or negatively.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of black and white, but like being like everything you put in your mouth either like helps you or hurts you. Yeah. But like if the hurtful stuff is like the 20% and you're doing it with friends and you're out for a nice meal and you got communion, you're laughing.
And
like,
it makes you feel good, then come on. Like, right? But you've got to be mindful around that, right? Like if you go sit down and have a donut with friends and go, oh fuck, I'm eating a donut, I'm gonna feel so shitty.
That's the worst thing.
You're gonna get a massive cortisol spike in your body, and you're just gonna be like, you're not gonna enjoy the donut first of all, but then your body's gonna react differently to if you went, awesome, I'm with friends, I'm going to enjoy this donut and then move on with my life. Like, I always say, I'm like, if you eat a stressful food and then stress out about it, it's a double whammy. Mm-hmm. Like, your body's like, thanks, bro. Yeah. You know? Yeah, I hate you. Yeah, cool. But it's a simple one. Like, just ask yourself before you eat something, or like, we do it in the gym with training, like, is this going to make me better? Like, the 1% rule. Yeah, exactly. Don't go to the gym if you're not going to get 1% better. Exactly. Right. And if you're just training for the sake of training, or because you've got a preconceived idea of you need to be training, or you need to be smashing yourself, or you need to be lifting heavy, and you know, like, I'm sure Jess and I definitely don't abide by that all the time. Like, no, of course not. Like, we miss those days where we have those days where we feel like we should rest, but we train because we feel like we should train. Definitely. And vice versa. So I think it's something that we both struggle with. I'm sure you struggle with, like I struggle with it. And you know, we're here as coaches and trainers and health professionals and personal trainers because we want to help everyone around us, even if we can't help ourselves sometimes. Well, and we're like ex-athletes. I think that makes a difference. Like, so used to being like, have to do this, right? Yeah. And I think because so I did a photo shoot like a few months ago now, but I prepped, like, I've never done a photo shoot, I've never done anything physique, but I was like, after my injury, and I just like felt like a normal person. Like, I was hating the gym. I wasn't training for anything. I was like, this sucks. I get why people hate the gym. Yeah, definitely. And so I was like, I need a goal, and like I did a DEXA scan and I was like 33% body fat. I had a huge breakdown because I was a blob, right? I was sitting for 8 months doing nothing. Yeah. And I was like, oh my, I cried. But if it was one of your clients, right, you wouldn't expect anything different. Like, you expect them, not. If they're hanging out for 8 months, like, improving a ruptured Achilles, then that's okay. But it was hard. It was hard to like, I was like, I've lost it, you know? So I like hired a physique coach and I like did this training, and obviously, like, you do some extreme things at the end, right? Like, which I knew, and I understand, like, okay, I'm like really long calories. Yeah, but if you want extreme stuff to happen, you've got to do extreme stuff. Exactly, right? Which I think another thing people don't really understand, like, but if you're aware of that and you're okay with it, and you make the action or make the choice to do it, then it's okay. Yes. Problem is, a lot of people find themselves in that position and not really understanding why they're doing it, and not understanding the extremes they're going to, and that extreme becomes the norm. True, but like, even afterwards though, like, I was finding it was pretty much a pretty big head fuck, like, in terms of like being like, all right, I know this has this many calories, I need to get on the bike for this. So even though you were aware of it and really educated in the space, you still struggled with it afterwards. For a while, for like probably like a good like 2 months, because like I was like, and I hate the scales, like I never weighed myself up for this coach. I had to weigh every week, so I kind of like got into it, but like my last shoot was on a Friday. I weighed 57 kilos, which was like less than I ever weighed when I played soccer, like tiny. Yeah. And then by the end of the weekend, like Sunday night, I was back, like I normally sit around 68, like whatever. Yeah. And I was like back up to 68, and I was like, I put on 11 kilos in 3 days. You know, like it was so like, and I never cared about scales, but I was like, oh fuck. Like I was like, I'm an elephant, you know? Like and of course I was water depleted, food depleted, like
taking, like, flushing things out, like, you know, like...
Your body's like, thank God, and your mind's like, what the fuck?
yeah, like, it was really hard.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyway, so...
What helped you get out of that mindset back into the, you know, I want to look after myself mindset?
To be honest, it took a few weeks of me just going, I don't feel like training, so I'm not going to train. Like, kind of being, like, the intuitive and being like, I want to eat this. So I was pretty, like, easily got back into food. I went pretty crazy, like, I was, like, hadn't had anything, like, naughty, right, for a while. So I went, like, pretty ham on that. And then, like, but I just didn't train for 2 or 3 weeks. And then I actually ended up going home, like, out of the blue. So... I went home and I just, like, walked. My parents live in the desert, so we, like, walked every day. Like, my dad and I played pickleball and golf, and I was like, you know, I'll just get back to it. That was, like, probably the best thing for me, because, like, even though they eat terribly, I was just like, look, I'm trying to do something movement every day, and then, like, when I get back, I'll just get back into it. Like, you know, like, that's life. Things happen, shit happens. Yeah. You can't, like, I was like, it took me a while to really be like, just don't stress, it's all good, like...
But then when you're not stressing, then you're starting to look after yourself again. You're not having that response, and then you can allow yourself. And I think there's nothing wrong with taking 3 weeks off training. There's nothing wrong with eating shitty for 2 weeks. Like, if it's going to get you back to a mindset and a position where you're looking after yourself. Yeah. But it just takes time, right? And and I'm sure, like, you're probably enlisting the help of the people around you, whether it be on, you know, the people you follow on Instagram or the things you read, to actually help you get back there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. If you could, I guess, nail down your life, health, fitness philosophy in like 2-3 sentences, what would it be?
I'll give it to you in like 1 sentence.
Hit me.
Well, it's not my whole philosophy. My philosophy around food. Eat like you give a damn about yourself.
Good.
Is like one of my favorite. I'm pretty sure I stole it from someone.
That's right.
But I just think it's like, it's such a form of self-respect. And I think if food becomes such a crutch, and I get it's so emotional. Like, people are so emotionally tied to food. Like when I see other people, it's like talking about religion sometimes. People like what do you mean? Like I shouldn't have this? I'm like, look, like. If this is where you want to be,
it's a hard conversation to have with a lot of people.
It is. It's very difficult, and you know, like people get attached, and it's because like you know, there's sensories attached to it, like smell and memory, and it reminds them of X, Y, Z, and you're taking that away. It's a comfort thing. So, you know, it's hard. It's hard. It's very hard for people. It's hard for myself. It's hard for everyone.
Yeah. Exactly. But like, if it's hard, let's. Like, enlist the help of people around us and actually talk to people about it, because so many people won't talk about it. Yeah. And I think that's the most frustrating thing, because we know we all struggle with food. We know we all struggle with training. We know we all struggle with motivation and discipline. Like, everyone is aware of, I guess, the stuff they struggle with, but they don't ask for help.
Well, I think that's why it's good, like you have your gym and, like, what we're trying to, like, community-wise, like, to share those stories. Yeah. Like, I think... they can get almost like, you almost feel like ashamed of feeling the way you feel. Or like if you have something bad, like, you know, I remember like that last week I went after I went for a show, I was like order Uber Eats and like eat it by myself and like hide the bag before my partner got home. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I'm a piece of shit. Like, what am I doing? But, you know, like everyone's been there. Like it's not just you. It's not just me. It's like, we've all had shit weeks. We've all had bad things. We've all done, well, I don't say bad things, but you know, like done things that maybe aren't conducive to our goals or what we want to be or achieve. And that's life, and that's everyone, though.
But that's okay, because then if you know, like if you fall down one day and fuck up, that's okay. The next day, just make sure you do the right thing. Yeah. And if you fall down that day, it doesn't matter. 100%. Next day, like if we get into that vicious cycle of fucking up, feeling shit about fucking up, then we fuck up again. It's just repeat. Like I started writing like just a couple little like posts either in our Virtus group or on our Facebook. And I'm just like, I'll write something that I'm struggling with. And everyone's like I get messages and stuff, it's like, thank you for writing that, or you know, like this one really hit home and stuff, and I'm just like, and this goes for, I guess, all the coaches out there and all the people that do work with other people, if you talk about the shit you're struggling with, most of the people around you will buy into it and will understand it because they're struggling with the same stuff.
I was literally just gonna say that, because I was like, it's so much better like when people are struggling and you can like share that experience with them, be like, look, I get that, I was there, I did that, like I totally feel your pain or whatever, you know, like again, going back to like being on the same level as people, like nothing connects you more than that, you know, than compassion. So
but don't just bitch about it because it's an issue, like actually identify, well, what are the things that can help me improve it. So like, for example, like my big struggle at the moment, and like I think we've always all got a struggle. So we call it like a block. What's your block at the moment?
Yeah.
My block's my sleep, right? Like I'm in a massive like exciting, crazy, cool part of the year, I guess, or like where we're at as a business, where like it's all about growth. It's all about where we want to be.
Yeah.
And so from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, we're all pumping and thinking about where we want to be. So you get home and then you've got to do all the other stuff that you talked about.
Yeah.
And it's just like, shit, well, what can I do to start allowing myself to relax a little bit more during the day so that I can actually get sleep at night. So I want to get sleep at night.
Yeah.
Like, because I get, like, I'm
an
a night.
infrared sauna, mate.
Yeah, well, get me one. It's on the list. It's on the list for our next Virtus when we get bigger. We got room for it.
Sorry?
Yeah. But, and I've got to figure out, well, what are the things that will remind me when I get home that I need to go to sleep and I'm not going to just sit there and read or watch TV or something like that. And like that's something I'm struggling with. So obviously the majority or like a big chunk of my clientele or the Virtus family, the people around us, and I'm sure your clients as well, that's what they're going to be struggling with. So why don't we talk about it?
Well, sleep's a tough one as well because it's like you get the FOMO, the fear of missing out, and people want to do things, which is like I go to bed at like I'm in bed, phone, airplane mode, but like 7:30 at the moment.
I don't know how you do that.
I don't have clients. We're not open yet, so that's true. But like like
enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. But it's something like even like I've been airplane mode on my phone now for probably like 6 months. Like I just do it from 7:30, and like all my clients know, or if they message me, they'll find out the next day. Like obviously I'm not on, but that's been like a huge thing for me because you just like you have to you're just constantly thinking and be like, oh, this person, the situation, and you're out of business, and is this gonna come, is that gonna come, like
what are these and then when you allow yourself to switch off and not think about that stuff, like life's good. Like
life's always good.
Yeah, well that's it. Reading's been my one for that.
Oh, awesome.
And I turned off all notifications on my phone.
So good.
And actually yesterday I was listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast, Black and White. So I changed my phone to grayscale for all those guys that are listening and can't actually see it. So you can change the actual so there's no color on your phone. So like obviously we look at our phone and we see the bright blue of Facebook or the I can't remember what color Instagram is now, like orange and purple or something, and we see that and like your brain just goes, ooh, pretty stuff. So so for those that are listening, just jump on Google and Google your phone and like whatever one it is and Google grayscale, and you can change it to grayscale. It's been like 2 days and I reckon my social media use would have dropped by 20% already.
That's so good.
And like it's just a little thing, but I'm not checking my phone as much at night. I'm not checking my phone as much during the day because, well, I can't see any pretty pictures. So if I want to go on Facebook, and I don't actually have a Facebook feed on my laptop because I've got another program that gets rid of that. Yeah. So like I can't look at pretty Facebook pictures anymore, which is stopping me from spending hours on it. Time on it. But it's just those little things that we can
sucker.
Soul sucker. Yeah. I think
it's so easy though.
We can use it for good, I think.
I think we'll get there. Yeah, definitely.
Maybe.
But it's such an easy rabbit hole to go down and like get lost in. Like when I was the last week before my photo shoots, I was like a mole on the couch, and I would get lost in like peanut butter porn. Like down Instagram, I was like, ugh. But I keep all my notifications off because or else you just think it, like it's just always going off, and it's always a reminder. Dopamine. It's a hit. Yeah. But that's a good idea, the grayscale.
I'll keep you guys posted as how it's going. I think I'll keep it on for a little while.
Yeah, do it.
You mentioned a couple of like mentors before. You didn't mention my name, but who have been your big mentors, and what have been the big things you've learned from them?
So my biggest mentor, like going into like learning about health and wellness, was Dave O'Brien from Fifth Element.
Awesome.
So I was at Fifth Element for about 2 and a bit years, and he was just like changed my whole view around health and wellness and like really fueled my passion for it. Because like of his backstory, like he had an issue with his health and that's how he got into it, and like I just like fed off that. So he invested heaps of time with me during the week, like learning about bloods and just everything across the board, and like trained me and like really taught me how to like properly like train people, and like introduced me to different courses and stuff like that. So that was amazing. And then when I left there, I basically I do so much. I'm such a nerd. Like I love Ben Greenfield and Sean Stevenson and Dave. Well, I don't love Dave Asprey, but he's pretty smart. So his stuff. Like all these people, like, I'm constantly listening to audiobooks, podcasts. Like, I have like an addiction to buying books. Like, I have so many books, and I always like, I get through them, but I have piles around our house, right?
Yeah.
Of just books on everything.
You're speaking to me on a spiritual level, right?
Oh man, it's on like my bedside table. I think I've got like 7 or 8. So, and most of them, to be honest, like, this is gonna be bad. Like, it's not bad, but I don't like listen or read anything that's not like gonna help me in what I do.
Why is that bad?
Well, because like if people are like, oh, you know, you should read.
What do you do, right? You help people.
Yeah,
you help
but
other people. So.
I don't read any like. I mean, I love Harry Potter. I've read all of them, but I don't read any like.
I'm exactly
fiction.
the same. Like, all my books are all, I guess, personal development or development of some sort, or business development, or you know, the autobiography of someone that I look up to. Or
Sure, definitely.
So I don't think you necessarily have to go your you know, imagination books and things like that. Like,
I don't know, I always feel a bit. I'm just like, yeah. I just want to cram all the bits in my brain.
Yeah, I like stories that have a deeper meaning to them.
Yeah, for sure. Like hearing how someone came up from to where they are to where they went or whatever, and like understanding their story and why they do what they do. Like, that's awesome. Like usually it's a pretty cool winding road.
Have you read The Alchemist?
I haven't yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah, so like for me, that's like as simple as, like, it's just a story, but it's all about getting from where you are now to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think you don't have to have a big giant book with all of these different life hacks in it. You just follow a basic story and do the things you love doing, and you get this, for me, it's such a simple message.
Cool.
Just to, well, if you want something, keep at it. Otherwise, like, if you stop, then you won't get it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, easy.
It's
black and white.
Well, it's that simple.
Yeah.
It almost is. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Like, we mistake simplicity for ease sometimes. Like, we want something to be simple and easy, but all the simple stuff's usually really hard because it's just repetition.
How comfortable we are in life today. Full stop. You know what I mean?
Definitely. What's have been some of the courses that you've done that you feel as though you've got the most benefit from?
So the first course I did in Melbourne, after like I had to do my Cert 3 and 4 because I didn't accept my American certifications.
Yeah. So you got the wonders of an Australian Cert 3 and 4.
Yeah, amazing. It's not. But I did, the first course I did was FMA.
Awesome.
With John Sharp and Mark Buckley, and it just like it just made so much sense. Yeah. Have you done it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've done 1, 2, 3 like numerous times. Like I was like a volunteer and stuff like. But that was like just learning about, you know, like why people break down and where and how to. I was like, oh my god, like
it's so simple.
It was so simple.
Yeah, I love the way the boys simplify it. It's just
it's amazing.
It's a really, really good, like, and for all the coaches out there that are listening that haven't done FMA, I would recommend it. It's outstanding.
It's awesome. It just makes it so easy to understand, and like, yeah, for me, like I said, it just made everything click, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So that was like, so I've done 1, 2, and 3 of those. I think they're changing it now, but I've done those numerous times. And I love Buckley. He's real smart. He's such a cool dude. I wish he was in Australia, but so that was a big one. I've done some Poliquin courses. So I did like PICP, and I did biosignature as well, which was good. Like because I do a lot of caliper testing. Not that I think that it's super like got a lot of validity, but it's a good measurement. You know, because I say,
if you do it the same way every time, then you can see the changes.
For sure, and people go, oh, this, you know, your caffeine is your sleep, and this, and look, I have seen some correlations with some things, and some make, like, obviously, if you're not eating well, your love handles are going to go up, duh. But, yeah, like that, those are really good. I've done, like, a few different, like, short courses here and there, but most of it has been, like, I did, like, a blood chemistry course, that was life-changing, and my FDN course that I did.
Yeah.
And just, that was, like, basically, it's like stress is the king, right? Which is like, you know, I think we all got a bucket, and, you know, people just recognize as stress being like an emotional thing, but like, are you eating stressful foods? Are you angry at traffic? Are you angry at your kids? Are you in a stressful job? Like, you know, there's so many other components.
And we don't differentiate between the different types of stress.
No, your body doesn't. Your body's like, oh, like, it's all the same. And to be honest, the first book I ever read that like also kind of clicked was Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Have you read that?
No.
It's like the most easy, simplifying. It's by Robert Sapowski. I think that's how you say his last name. And it just like how stress like just messes up your body, causes chronic disease, all these issues, like cascade effect, right? So, you know, like, and it's so simple because like And I think it like pillars of health, like you talk about food and movement and stress management and sleep and toxic whatever. But if you get like, if you can kind of like hit like those at like a pretty like 75% level, like everything in your body is gonna like sort itself out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we've got a pretty amazing machine that we're dealing with. So,
it's we know what we're doing. Like we were like, I want to write a book, and someone's gonna see this, I'm sure, because I keep saying this, but I want to write a book that says like, it's like titled like Health from the Inside Out. It's all the same shit, because you know people come to me and they have diagnoses of XYZ or autoimmune conditions or cancers or whatever, and it's like it's literally majority of the time it's the same things. Like what do you put in your body? Like how are you sleeping? How are you managing stress? Like how are you managing your toxic load? Do you use shitty products?
That's like a great title for a book,
right? Because it really is like at the end of the day, it's all the same stuff, like pretty much, like generally. You know, so it can control. But if you're doing kind of the majority of the big things right, like then your body's gonna be like, okay, well we can handle a bit more stress in life and kid stress and rain.
Exactly. And if you want to go hard at work for a month, but you've got to be filling your bucket or filling your cup.
Correct.
As you go, because you know it only lasts, and you get away with it for a while. And like when you're, in your 20s and 30s, you can get away with it.
Can get away, yes.
But it'll pay you back later on.
Well, that's what I think, to be honest. Like my injury, like I was pretty stressed at work. I was training really hard. Like my body, you're either going to get a disease or an injury. My body was like, take a seat.
Something always breaks.
Yeah, and then even the second one, like, because I like that first month, I was like, yes, breathing. And then like it took my mentor and boss to say to me, hey, have you like wound down? Have you taken a nap? Have you meditated? I was like, nah, just been reading. He's like, you need to just chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So then that's when I started chilling out. And I was like, oh yeah.
Everyone who knows me will tell me that I need to do that at the moment.
Yeah.
But we're getting there.
Well,
I'm learning.
Just don't injure yourself or get a disease.
No, and I'm like, being in the position we're in, you understand that things don't happen by accident. Like, yes, some impact injuries may happen by accident, but if you're looking after yourself, then things like Achilles ruptures and hamstring injuries and soft tissue stuff doesn't really happen by accident.
Not even just that. Like it blows my mind when people go, "Oh, like I've got cancer. Like, I don't know how I got this." It is so scientific. Your body has been breaking down for the last 30 years. Now this is how it's proliferating, right? So. Like people say, oh, I'm genetically disposed to having thyroid issues because my mom has it and I have it and my aunt has it. I'm like, that just means it's your weak link, right? Yeah. So if you treat your body like shit, like that's where you're gonna break down. Where I might break down in my Achilles, because my Achilles obviously which I found out I have genetically small Achilles, so that's where I broke down. Yeah. But it's you damaging your body for whatever reason. That is the reason.
Yeah. It's not a death sentence, right? It's not a this is the way it has to be. Like if you're predisposed to something, it doesn't mean you've got it. It just means that if you don't do the right things and look after yourself the right way, then you might end up with it.
Exactly. Well, and but science, right? My dad had prostate cancer 6 years ago. He's fine now, but I sat down with him recently when I was home, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like, because he used to be a Boilermaker and work in plants. I'm like, well, you probably got this. Well, you eat terribly, but I was like, from working in plants and fumes, and back 30 years ago, they didn't use proper.
They were just winging it.
Yeah, as your private body being like, okay, enough toxins, not enough reading it out. It's a slow process. You just don't get cancer overnight. You just don't get tumors overnight. Takes a while.
Whoops! I accidentally got cancer.
Oh, I caught it.
Don't think it happens that way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. No. All right, I got a bunch of questions for you.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And I want you to be as succinct or as long-winded as you want.
What?
Be as quick with as short with your answer, or talk forever.
Okay.
First one. Have you had a defining moment?
Wow. Have I had a defining moment? Yes. So when I think, as I told you, I was married when I came to Australia, to an Australian.
Yeah.
I knew it was probably not right for about a year, but I really wanted to stay, but didn't know what to do because I didn't have any friends really yet, and it was very scary. It sucked. I was probably 23. So when I decided to end things, I basically had to move up, pack my stuff, and left, and didn't know where I was going.
That's heavy.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I mean, I'm pretty lucky. I had I worked at a cafe, and this lady was like, "Oh, my daughter's away. Do you want to use my car for 6 months?" And I was like, and then I got and then I got this job at this wellness gym, just out of the blue. All these things started falling in place, but I basically lived in a studio shack, by myself, eating rice packets for it was so scary.
Struggle for a while.
Yeah, it was a struggle, but So that leaving, like driving away and then like dealing with that for a few months and then getting on my feet again, that was a whole kind of educational lesson, life lesson, which I'm so grateful for. Like, you know, I think I'm pretty resilient. But yeah, that was definitely like, it was scary. And I think part of it as well is like, I never believed in divorce. Just like, I don't know, I was like, oh, people can work it out, like it's great. And then I was in a situation and I just like realized we were two separate people. And, you know, I didn't want to, everything in my life was great except for that. And I was like, well, it's just not right.
Everything runs its course eventually. And if it's not right, it's not right. But you've got to be open and honest and
I waited for a year, right? Yeah. Like I was like, oh, and I talked to my parents about it and they're like, oh, and they were really supportive. They're like, you can come home, you can this and that. And I was like, I'll just like kind of wait it out and tried talking about it, tried to go into counselors, tried marriage counseling, all that stuff, and it just like didn't work. And so then when I left, you know, like he was begging me not to, I was like, it was scary.
But you had to make the right decision, and you're both probably in a better place.
Oh, so much! Like I'm so grateful. Like you know, without him, I probably wouldn't have stayed here in Australia or like been here for the year and stuff. So that was very defining.
I like that
for me.
It's good. Do you know any good fun facts?
Fun facts. I'm probably not talking about it. Fun fact, do you know that cactuses are endangered species? Cacti?
Genuinely?
In
all of them? Or some of them?
I think like maybe just in the States. So like in Arizona, my parents lived in Arizona because parents live in Arizona and you can't just like go out to the desert and like grab a cactus and put it in your yard.
Really?
Can't, no, because they're endangered. So they tag them all like animals. But if something falls off, you can like, because it's like a pineapple, you know, the roots are in the top and so then you put it in the pot and it grows. So and they only grow an inch a year, so that's how you know how old it is. I don't know why I just
That's cool.
Cactuses.
I like that. This week on Cactus Facts.
Yeah.
That's good. What advice would you give 15-year-old version of yourself?
Oh, I would tell myself, well, like I love the quote, in 10 years from now, will it really matter? Because I was thinking, I think this is very generalized and I might get some shit for this, but like, as females, like we're so emotionally retarded until about...
Agreed.
until about 28, but you know, just like not knowing what we want and like you know, I just remember like really like judging myself or like thinking people were judging me or like I just was like, so I always had a boyfriend, like I needed that like reassurance, like I just didn't have any self-love kind of stuff, you know, which I'm sure everyone kind of hates themselves, and a lot of girls go through it like now with like social media and like all that shit that we see. It's tough, but I really wish like I would have like just done myself, like just done me, you know, like and not really.
But from a mindset thing, like that's you just needing to remind yourself, but you have the emotional maturity now to be able to do that. I think.
Now I'm 30 now. I'm old. Not that old. But you know, I just think like we just like we don't really know ourselves, and like just be like it's all good. Like it's not the end of the world. Like you just make big deals out of situations that like don't really matter, right? Like, and one thing I've also learned like with like my partner's very like low emotional and like chill and like I always tell him he can like trudge through shit because like he can be like the world could be collapsing, he's just like laser focused, like doesn't even break a sweat. He's stressed, but like he's really good at just like head down eyes forward, right? And I just like I've taken so much from him because he's just like really good at that. Where like originally we got together, I'd be like, you know, I'd cry, like I was injured, like, and he'd just be like, well, like, you know, what can we do about it? Like, it'll be alright, like, it'll be okay, like, things will be alright, things are gonna work out. I'm
God,
like,
that sounds familiar.
right? You're like, oh yeah, like, it's gonna be okay. And like, does this really matter? Like, that's a big thing I ask when I'm like, okay, like, if someone, I used to get really upset, well, it still kind of annoys me, but like, timeliness, like I hate being like I would rather not go to something because it stresses me out. But like now when people like show up late or whatever, it used to really piss me off, and I still think it's kind of rude. But I'm just like, does this really matter? Like, is it worth like getting upset, like ruining my cortisol levels? You know,
well,
all
that's exactly it. But there's so many different ways we can react to it. Like we can get shitty and go, oh, they obviously don't care about us, but they might have had something else going on that we don't know about it. But from their point of view, they've got to be like, you know, rather than I hate this, like, I'm sorry I'm late. It's like, thanks for waiting for me, because you're actually, you know, you're actually showing people that you care that they
about their time. Yeah, definitely.
On the girls being crazy piles of stuff. There's one of the girls at the gym. I think I've spoken about on the podcast a couple of times, but one of the girls who works for Virtus has been banging on about this audiobook for maybe 6 months. It's called Understanding Women. I think it's Alison Armstrong. Okay. Possibly. Finally listened to it, and it is exceptional. It talks about the difference between men and women, basically, and that girls aren't just a slightly more feminine version of us. No. different species, right?
Oh,
and we deal with everything in such different ways, and I probably need to listen to it again because being an audiobook, I tend to zone out sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's something that, I would recommend everyone listen to because girls and guys.
If you want your world rocked, listen to the guy who wrote The Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And he's got a second book. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like all about relationships and like to the point of hormonally being like, if you want your girlfriend to be happy for the next month, on day 3 after her period, you need to be really nice to her. Like so from a science level though, being like, her pheromones are doing this, so if you act this way, she'll be better. Like it's really like, whoa, like, but it's true. Like,
but it's important, just as important for I think girls to understand that as guys, because like 100%. If you're reacting a certain way, and like I'm sure there'd be the same thing with guys, but if you're reacting a certain way, and you understand why you're doing that, then like you're going to be okay with it. But Definitely. If you don't understand why and you just think, oh shit, I'm a mess, like I got all this stuff going on, like that's when you're really, really going to struggle.
Well, I think that's like, so I've been doing a lot of like listening to a lot of self-development books, and like You Are a Badass by Jess Curl was like changed my whole life. You know, like the stories we tell ourselves in our heads. And it's really like brought in light to like why I personally may do some of the things that I do and why I react to things, and like even in like relationships, like I can remember like doing the girl thing where my partner would say something and I would take it the completely wrong way. And then he would call me out on it. He'd be like, I didn't say this, I said this, and you took this one. And I was like, it took me not very long, like a few times, like 2 times, 3 times maybe, to just be like, oh yeah. Like, you know, and I needed someone to tell me that. I think most people like either don't say anything or just like fight back and get emotional. I think it's easy to do that. But yeah, definitely, I would definitely suggest doing some reflection, thinking about your actions.
Stuck in the patterns that you're kind of used to.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I think that ability to kind of look down on the conversation you're having or the reaction that you have, rather than just being in it, being able to look down on it and go,
Correct.
Well, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing? If not, learn from it. Like it's just.
And why does this person feel the way? You know, why are we fighting? Like, why do they think it's like this? Or
usually it's just a breakdown in communication. It's not that you want different things or that things aren't going to be okay. Like it's just a breakdown in your ability to communicate, because we all communicate slightly differently.
Definitely.
Good answer. If money wasn't an issue and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life?
I would, to be honest, I would probably like go somewhere. I want to live, I don't know where, but live somewhere where I want to build a big like biohacking house in the middle of nowhere, no Wi-Fi, like a salt room, a sauna, like a cold pool, like all the cool things, right? Yeah. And then just like, you know, I'll probably have like maybe the beach on one side, like desert on the other, and like mountains. And I just wanted to be like full primal. Like that's what I was do. Maybe cool. Travel first a little bit, like go around here. But then like just like invest all this money. Like that's our goal anyways, is to do something like that. But you know, just have this like sweet place. Like that's what I love doing, right? I love being up. I still want to like maybe help. I still want to help probably in some way. Like maybe I'd like write an ebook or something. But you know, like I probably, you know, because I'm gonna be living in the middle of nowhere. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that answer. I would go there.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
Yeah, well, I think it is like, oh, if my parents ever come over, I get them real healthy, because like we'd only have healthy food.
They'd have to get healthy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right?
If you could be remembered in one sentence, what would it be?
Oh, God. In one sentence.
Yeah.
Jess really gave a shit about me. That's what I'd want the sentence to be.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What is success to you?
Success is, you know, being able to do what you love every day, living optimally and surviving on that, like money-wise, you know, because I think money kind of gets a weird, like, oh, I got money, but you need money to survive, so that's what success is to me.
Play on. Nothing wrong with that. What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? Probably my whole time staying here in Australia. So, from like leaving my husband, to changing visas, to almost getting out of the country, to this new gym sponsoring me, to leaving them, to again almost getting kicked out of the country, to my partner now and I'm being on visa. Like, it's a long story, maybe for another podcast, but it's pretty depth, and it was very ups and downs, stressful of, I want to be here, I'm doing what I love, like how do I stay here and continue doing what I love, and so through that whole journey, I'm pretty proud of how I came out of it, and how like we as me and my partner, but have kind of like persevered. It would have been easy to go home and move in with mom and dad and given up. And I mean, we can do what we love kind of anywhere, but...
Yeah, but then now you're able to look back on it and say that, well, all that struggle made you who you are effectively.
Correct, definitely. So, so I've found some shit, which is good, but it's only, made me a little bit tougher.
Learning experience.
Yeah.
Good. I like that. So on like the back half of that question, what are you most ashamed of?
Oh, what I was ashamed of? Back off. That's a tough. I'm actually listening to all these books on shame at the moment. So by Brené Brown. Like I just finished Braving the Wilderness and Power of Vulnerability.
So I haven't listened to any of the books yet, but I've watched all the TED Talks and
I listened to
a bunch of her videos.
Oh, the Power of Vulnerability! I listened to it in like 3 days. Like I put it on when I was training. Like I couldn't stop listening because I was just like, oh my god. I think I'm most ashamed. So I got a good story. So when I was in college. So the reason I stopped drinking, I only drink like maybe once a year now, but the reason I stopped drinking is at university I was just like in a very, very dark place, like had ruined things with my boyfriend, like just I wasn't going to school. Like I was just like in a very bad mental state and living at my grandparents and just like being a bum. And one night we went out, had some drinks. My ex-husband / boyfriend at the time got pretty wasted. I started throwing some swings at him, which is very out of character for me. But then like the cops came, took me home. They didn't arrest me or anything, which is good. But I went in and I actually like found some pills on the table and like took it. I was like, this is shit, right? Like lowest point of my life. So I took a bunch of pills. I think it was like ibuprofen, something like too crazy, but like a whole bottle's worth. And luckily my boyfriend at the time came home and found me and called the ambulance and took me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, took me to the hospital and I woke up with my dad like next to my bed. And my parents like, I'm good at the my eyes getting a little emotional. My parents actually met in AA, so like we never had like alcohol around the house. Like they were always like cool to like, if you want to do it, like tell us, like we'll get some for you, like or something. It was always open, but like I was not an athlete, so I never drank capes until I really went to college as a student of my career. So I woke up and like my dad was in bed and he was just like, I love you so much. It was the first thing out of his mouth and I was like, and I was like hating myself and having my stomach pumped and it was pretty tough. And coming back from that, like obviously like I got help. I saw people like, I went to AA meetings. I didn't think I had a problem drinking, but I was like, I just wanted to, I don't know, be around other people who understood. And like it definitely brought my dad and I really, really close. But that was probably like the lowest point of my life. I was just like, what am I doing?
It shows a lot about your character, I think, the way you responded to it though. Like having that, like going to the meetings and putting yourself in positions where, like with people who understand, like you didn't suffer alone afterwards, which a lot of people could have.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I'm super lucky. Like my dad could have been so angry at me or this and that, and he was just like, he's like, I love you so much. He's like what can I, like, what did I do? What can I do to help? And so that was, because I'm really close to my parents, so that was like really tough. And I was like stayed pretty like kind of like embarrassed and ashamed for like a while because like people at school, it was a small town, so people kind of found out and I was like, God, I'm the worst. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what point I got through it, but I just kind of kept going to, like, speak to people and... I don't know.
It's a process, right? Like, you're not going to be better overnight. Like, it's going to take time and you're going to have days when you're not feeling great.
Yeah. Well, and I was just like, look, like, that's when I was like, all right. I was like, I don't ever want to lose control. And, and so now... Like I said, I only drink maybe like once or twice a year. I drink on my birthday. Like, I just, and it's like partially because of health now and it's expensive here in Australia and I don't feel good when I do it. And, but that was like a real turning point. So I don't think I drank for like 4 years because I was just like, oh, I don't trust myself. I don't know what'll happen. Yeah. Like, I'm not an aggressive person. Like, so.
But you learn from it and.
Yes.
Here we are. Good. If you could invite 3 people to dinner, who would they be and why?
Such a good question.
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive? Probably invite... Oh, this is such a tough question. I would probably invite, like, Channing Tatum just for the looks.
Treat yourself.
My vanity. Treat yourself.
I don't think that's the first time he's been an answer.
That is the first time.
I don't think it is.
Oh, well, he's pretty good looking.
Yeah.
To be fair, probably change him, and then maybe like who's really I'd invite oh my god, I can't think of his name. I was gonna say Ted Bundy, but that's not that I want. The name that I want. Obama. I probably know Obama. I'm sure that's not the first time he's been.
Awesome.
He just seems cool to hang out with. I'd be like.
It'd be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, like he'd just be probably so proper. It'd be awesome. And then Tony Dungy. So I don't know if he's a ex football coach. So he talks like I've been reading a lot about habits and building habits and stuff. And I've read some of his books. He's got really cool stories if you want to read autobiographies. Yeah. Anyways, he just like talks about like his philosophy around coaching and like life was like, you know, if you do the small things right every day, they become excellent, right? You don't have to do excellent things all the time or whatever, if that makes sense. So and his philosophy with football was like, let's just make the small things work awesomely, and then you don't have to throw Hail Marys at the end of the game. You've already got it.
Yeah.
And he's got a really cool story about how like, I mean, similar I'm sure to like coaches here, like you can get fired in the middle of the night and then not have a job, and you know, it's like pretty stressful. But he went through a few different jobs because like he talked about habit change, and guys would do really, really good until like maybe a stressful situation came, and then they would revert back to their old ways. Until they got to like I think it was like the Browns or Pittsburgh Steelers, so they hadn't won in like 50 years or something, and then they won back-to-back NFL Super Bowls. And so his story's really cool, and like I just think like he'd be cool person to sit down and just like talk about that with, and just be like, man, like what did you when you got fired in the middle of the night?
Brain,
like how did you feel? So I think we'd all four would get along really well. You know? Yeah.
That'd be cool. Next one's a Tim Ferriss question.
Oh, good.
What's the book that you either have given the most as a gift or that you wish that everyone would read?
Ooh, that's a good one too. Can I pick two?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, good. I was looking at three now. So for like the nerdy people, like the really like sciencey people, I always give people Deep Nutrition. It's the one I talked about.
Yeah. And
like it just goes into, it's really interesting actually. It goes into like how genes express themselves, and so like, you know, if your grandparents ate really well, then your mom had better genes and your gene, like, but it's like a whole family tree effect, right? So if they eat terrible and they continue terrible, like you're just gonna get worse and worse. Yeah. And it just talks about how to like basically eat to thrive as a human and how to have the best building blocks, which I just love. But she's very sciencey and very nerdy. But she does like, she's like the LA Lakers nutritionist. So she talks about like, she's been interviewed in a few podcasts, talks about like Kobe Bryant rolling his ankle and like feeding him bone broth and how he heals so much faster than other guys. And then the other one that I was gonna say is kind of a line book, but it's called The Wallace Protocol. So it's a little bit less sciencey, but it's about this doctor. So there's like a doctor, like normal medical doctor, who got MS. Yeah. She diagnosed MS, and then like over a span of basically like 7 years, she went down the whole medical route because that was like what she was taught, and she just like went from having her own practice to not being able to get out of bed, like fully bedridden. Yeah. And then was like, nah, fuck this, right? Started doing like just like any papers that had like herbal supplements or other things alternative, and basically implemented that in her life and like completely healed herself. It's crazy. So, you know, and like people like MS is like forever. Well, and then like, not saying it's gonna heal you for sure, but like her protocols are now being tested with like different autoimmune conditions and Crohn's and IBS and all these other things. It's really interesting. Yeah, it's so cool. In her book, her story, so it goes basically, it's like her story, which you're like, fuck, that's amazing, especially because she comes from that medical background. Yeah. And then heals herself. I mean, I think she used a bit of both, but like with the change of diet and stuff like that, she talks a lot about food's the biggest thing at the end of the day that she talks about. So like there's like 3 different levels. You can do like kind of like the basic, which is like kind of paleo-esque with a little bit of grains, and there's like, you know, no grains, and there's like a ketogenic kind of style like diet. But she talks about the importance, and it just makes it so simple, and like it's always better when you hear someone who has felt it or been there or you know, like been like, oh, I understand how you feel. So yeah, those are the 2 books. So the Wallace Protocol was good because it's kind of like a how-to, like a step-by-step, like. That's cool. Yeah. I like it. Good books. Last question for you. What's your favourite quote? What's my favourite quote? Well, I do like the quote, eat like you give it down by yourself. That's one of my favourite ones. But this is such a good question. Someone else asked me on the podcast, and I went away and I was like, oh my god, I could have said so many things. Yeah. And it didn't. Probably my favorite quote is probably like the genetics of the gun lifestyle pull the trigger, like with clients anyways, just because it makes so much sense when you actually sit and think about it. You're like, oh yeah,
just
like,
look after yourself, damn it.
yeah. So look, that's my short answer.
No,
my short
good quote.
brain one.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Love your work. How can people find you?
So I'm on Instagram and social media at Better Health with Jess.
Awesome.
I've got a website. It's like betterhealthwithjess.weebly.com.
Cool.
I think. Or if you go on my Instagram, you can find it there. I'm pretty active on my Instagram.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I've got like a weekly newsletter you can sign up for. I post kind of like lots of nerdy things, recipes, exercises.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can come down to Collingwood, check out the Better Health Project when we open. Yeah.
Love your work. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Superstar.